Oh my gosh. Was not expecting that. Oh, here we go. That's the feeling that I like. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is SKYMAN Universe, and your Star Wars quote for today. You failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me. Words cannot describe how excited I am at the moment, and I cannot believe that it was over 2 years ago since this magical moment. Oh my god, is this happening? Me, that was one of the best Star Wars reactions ever. It was so totally unexpected, it was so merited and perfect and just right, and captured the essence of Luke Skywalker, and knowing that Mark Hamill was involved in there as well. The Mandalorian Season 2 just went, in my opinion, from strength to strength, and that episode with the N1 Starfighter, that to me was perfect. The one with Cobb Vanth and Din Djarin taking on the Krayt Dragon, that was another perfect episode. But this show has gone from strength to strength, and I'd like to remember what Star Wars was like just before The Mandalorian even started, and I think it is thanks to The Mandalorian that the Star Wars hype sort of was revitalized and it felt fresh and new, and something was beginning again. I mean, they might have gone a bit too far with some of the shows and everything, and I still am a firm believer that Star Wars belongs on the big screen, but The Mandalorian just captured something, and I don't feel like they should have done the same format for the other shows, but The Mandalorian is perfect. It has a TV show, and it's perfect in the way it's presented and made and how it progresses, and I think what they did there, they've captured the Star Wars magic, and that's what I love about The Mandalorian so much. And that's why I'm so excited for Season 3, because I've always felt like care and attention has been put into this show with all the creators, with all the actors. I mean, it's something that seems separated almost and different. And I don't know how to explain it, but I feel connected to it a lot more than I have with all the other shows. And I can't believe I've sort of got the nostalgic feeling for it already. It's not even that long ago, but it's just a special time where I just felt Star Wars was so cool again, and it's because of The Mandalorian, I think. But yeah, Season 3, we can only assume that Din Djarin is going to head back to Mandalore, the great overall story, and he's going to revitalize Mandalorians or something along those lines. The Darksaber, I'd say, still in contention with Bo-Katan, but the thing that piques my interest the most is, of course, Grogu with the Mandalorian. And what's Luke Skywalker going to be doing about that now? I think he's been given to the Mandalorian to have these experiences, and that's part of his training. He's going to be a bit different. But eventually I assume he will go back to Luke. I'm not going in with the show with expectations for a massive surprise, because I think this show will just be very nicely and well done throughout. And if there's a surprise or anything, or surprises throughout, then that's going to be a bonus for me. I think that's the best way to go into it, because The Mandalorian, I'm here for The Mandalorian. I'm here for the progression of his story, and anything that is shown to us and added on top, then that's just a gift from Star Wars. So every single episode I'm going to be reacting to together for you to watch me watch it and enjoy it with fellow Star Wars fans. It's early in the morning, the cereal is bestowed upon me, and I'm good to go and watch this. My gosh, I'm so excited. I do wish I was in the cinema though, watching this in the big screen. That'd be really cool as well, but then it sort of takes away from the Disney Plus thing, but I do wish they'd do that, because that'd be awesome. But with all the excitement, we have to consider one thing, and for me the great concern is how this ties in with the sequels. Now we know it's sort of nicely interlocked with Book of Boba Fett, and I think there's going to be another Book of Boba Fett, so hopefully there's going to be a Season 2, but that didn't really show us how the sort of this era is progressing in the greater scheme of things. I feel like Mandalorian will touch on that a little bit more, because its scope is a lot bigger and has wide implications. I'm very, very skeptical, as you know, if that's going to link in with the sequels. That is my biggest fear with this. I just really hope they've got their wits about them and just think something cool. Don't mention them at all, that'd be even better. But it's just that chat, the rebel pilot on Coruscant, or he mentions about something bigger is at work here. Now that to me could be Snoke, First Order, something, whereas it would be cool to see how that formed and came about. No matter how cool that'd make that, we all know how that ends. And
somehow Palpatine returned.
yeah, so that's my only concern, but that's minimal. A little concern, really. Right, let's do this. I miss IG. He was a good droid.
There's only one way. The way of the Mandalorian.
There's only one way. This. Cool start. Are they forging Grogu's armor to begin with? I freaking love this, honestly. Kylo Ren, nice.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Nice to see John Favreau back in action. I'm getting some really good grateful blood here. This is freaking awesome.
Get down!
Oh my gosh, was not expecting that. Oh, here we go. That's the feeling that I like. Literally shivers everywhere already. God, I love that ship so much. What an intro! That was brilliant. This is the way. It's going to be interesting how they interact, if they do, with Bo-Katan's clan, who all have their helmets removed, just like all the Mandalorians we've pretty much seen in the Clone Wars. Love that entrance still, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Massive Rebels reference. Was it the Poggle or something? Oh my god. That's brilliant. Freaking hell. That's just so special, honestly. God, I love being at that show. That was amazing. Is that early references to Ahsoka and Ezra, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Welcome back to Navarro. That noise is so good. A tree full of salacious crumbs. Oh, that's so good. I love that.
Mando!
Why the fudge does that make me emotional? Why? It's a statue, what the hell? It's so stupid.
It's so good to see you. Welcome back.
It's so good to see you. I love those droids carrying his cape. That's good. I'll probably have that.
His name is Grogu.
If you say so. Come, I want to show you something. You may be an apostate, but here you'd be landed back in my office. This is a school.
Well, that...
Join me for a drink back in my office.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. He does look so cool.
Okay.
Or he'll return with more pirates.
Have the service droid scrub about this. Level with you, Mando. I need a marshal.
What about Marshal Dune?
After she brought in Moff Gideon, she was recruited by Special Forces.
And what came of Gideon?
He was sent off to a new republic.
That means Jada's not returning in. That's sad.
You ready to put on the stripes?
Is it Cara Dune?
The stipend you'd make a very...
I can't serve as your marshal. I have something pressing to attend to.
And we all know where there's a good marshal.
You were here on business.
He dwells on Tatooine.
I need him back.
IG-11 was destroyed on the lava river. This is just a statue.
I knew it.
These are his parts.
We'll find you one, I guarantee you.
Let me give it a shot.
I knew it. I swear I said that in one of my earlier reactions. That... I can't remember his name, the Ugnaught. He might have saved his memory somehow.
As a terminated.
Sure.
Terminated.
That is so creepy.
What do you want?
My brain says not to like them because it's a sequel, but
Okay.
my heart, it does. They're
I don't
cool.
understand. Do you speak Huttese? No, Grogu. Not a pet.
No, it's crazy. That's way, that's way.
I love this
Sorry
because
about
it's
that. He's young.
just puppets galore,
No, Grogu.
and it works so well.
After him!
I don't know why, because you're in an asteroid field, you just feel like a seismic charge is going to be automatically dropped.
Mandalorian. Not yet.
I love this. It's so good. The music with it's perfect.
You're outgunned.
I have
That's
no
so
quarrel
cool.
with you, Gord.
Sentiment.
You've got a Star Wars Davy Jones.
Just destroyed. Surrender your ship and I'll spare your life.
That was awesome. Really good.
Bo-Katan. It is Din Djarin.
It's a pretty empty
I'm here to
throne.
join you. You said that the curse was a lie. Make up your mind.
If you want to go to... Goodbye, Din Djarin.
Great help, Bo. Nicely done. Oh wow, I've missed that credit music. Get that name from there. And there we have it, episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian, and it's literally everything which I wanted, and it's so perfectly done in world building and getting us back to the characters and some adventure in there and some action, and yeah, it's just, they just managed to do it every time. There's always like special moments in there, like with the I think it's the Poggle, the big hyperspace whales, you know, and it's just that constant nod to various things in the world building and the references that, you know, might be coming up in the Ahsoka series, and then with Ezra and, you know, what happened to him, which leads on to Thrawn, etc. And, you know, there's all these small details and things. One of the things which I didn't even think was, I don't know why, just seeing the statue of IG He's IG-11, could be wrong. But just seeing him there, and it, it's the first season. This was years ago, and you still remember freshly when he just blew himself up to save everyone else. And I'm pretty sure I said there as well that maybe his memory bank was saved or something like that, and then they could just rebuild the droid and then insert that back in there. That would have been cool. Maybe if it didn't manage to find the Argonaut's home and then he found a backup something in there, that would have been a really nice thing in there as well. But the fact that he wants him as his partner again, that's something which I wanted to begin with, to have their own little group. So the fact that might happen as well, because I love that droid. And when he rides in with Grogu on the speeder and saves him, and you're 100% rooting for him, there's so many special moments in The Mandalorian. It's just filled with them. The introduction was pretty tense. It was like the Crate Dragon scene, which I love so much, where they're all trying to take it on, but it's the big monsters, it's all those things which are added, which always makes it feel Star Warsy. And even though they're like filming in places which look like, perhaps that looks like it's close to Earth, there's always a massive set of Star Wars element in the design added in there, or the creatures, or the architecture, or something like that. The side characters, it's all world building, and you just feel immersed and you don't question it. Whereas, say if that was something else, I would question it all the time and it wouldn't feel like a movie. But Mandalorian always manages to capture that magic for me. It pays attention to his atmosphere and the world it's created, and I think this is very much the core of Star Wars at the moment. If they go back to Mandalorian, what's it going to be like, a civil war thing? Who's the opposition there? Who's going to be there? Is it going to be it's got to be the Empire, or the remnants of it, of Moff Gideon, and there's got to be something special in there, in the mines, which they're still trying to get the Beskar stuff, and that's going to probably build up to a climax, I'd imagine, and then Bo-Katan will help the Mandalorian. That's just my very, very early on speculation, but how Grogu fits into that, I don't know. And what is on the back of my mind is knowing that Luke Skywalker is about and doing things. That very much is in the back of my mind now, and what he's thinking of doing with Grogu and his Jedi Temple. One thing I've always thought, and the story of Luke Skywalker, I always think fits well with his Jedi Temple on Yavin, same as it was shown in the game of Night Jedi Outcast. Maybe because I played that first when I was young, and that became legit canon for me. And I've always seen that, you've got to beat that temple. And if that's not beaten, if you don't have the same atmosphere of becoming a Jedi Knight and training, that mystical feel about it, then I'll probably find it a little bit difficult to forget the Jedi Outcast. But that is something that is at the back of my mind. Reef Cargo looks freaking awesome. Navarro is so cool now. And I love even that they've said that it's become rich and prosperous, and the reasons for it as well. Now it feels like a real established Star Wars planet, like a proper base that's been built. And it'd be really cool to see it progress like so much up the season. That'd be really good as well. But I think in terms of like parts of the story, it's still quite open. Like, you don't really know what's going on. The grand story, but is every episode going to be working towards that, or is he still going to go on his side adventures? Now, we know that he heads to Tatooine. The trailer shows he gets his astromech, and that very, very special astromech. But yeah, what the reason for going there is, I don't know why. Maybe entirely for the astromech, but I hope there's some sort of episode which is just on Tatooine and Mos Espa, or Mos Eisley. But yeah, that episode on Last Tatooine, it was just so good. So yeah, I think just to begin the show, get you straight back into The Mandalorian where you left off, this very much reminded me of, it was kind of continuation of the first series for me. That's what it felt like in terms of the vibe and the atmosphere it's creating, and showing the importance of Grogu again there as well. I don't understand, it's just the emotion that I feel throughout. I had it in the other Star Wars shows, but I always feel really connected to The Mandalorian on Grogu, and that's obviously my own relationship with obviously my child, and you have that different feeling, and it's sort of replicated throughout as well, because The Mandalorian started before I became a dad, and then when I became a dad, I remember those moments when you have a baby, and and they're very special moments. So I relate heavily to The Mandalorian in certain respects, and every single thing, from a Star Wars point of view, it would pull my heartstrings. The Mandalorian is a chronic heartstring puller. Like whatever scene it is, it always seems to sort of touch me. I feel it in a different way, and just seeing IG, he's IG-11. Seeing that was one. Grogu, when he's looking at the Poggle in space, going through hyperspace. I mean, how many times have we seen hyperspace? But it's like we're seeing it for the first time again because of these special moments that are well thought out. It's just things like that I just really love so much, and I feel so connected to The Mandalorian more so than any other series that we've had so far. And I never thought I'd say that, because Kenobi would have been so top and high and perfect for me, but it didn't hit the mark for the epic scale and magnitude of what Obi-Wan should have and could have been. Not that the show didn't have some really great bits, but it could have been so much more. And The Mandalorian never felt like that it's missing something. It is The Mandalorian. This is the show. This is what has been established, and this is great. But I love now that I get to see it in a different light, in a different view, to how I was when we first started watching The Mandalorian to how it is now. It's so much heightened, so much of a heightened experience. It was nice that I mentioned Cara Dune in there as well, so she didn't just disappear completely off the face of the planet. However, it would have been really nice to see her on Navarro, because I'm pretty sure she probably would have ended up as the Marshal, which would have been really cool. However, I think at least she was mentioned, which was pretty good there as well. The last scene with the pirates, I'm just going to say that those aliens look so freaking good. Like, the makeup on them was just perfect. Like, all of their prosthetics, it looks so realistic. And it's just another step up in that department as well, which is always a bonus in Star Wars. And the fact that we've got pirates about, and it's all these new things and sort of unique things, which I love so much. And then it ended up with going through the asteroids, fighter fight. That was so cool. And the music in there as well. When the music is on point with the action or whatever's being displayed on screen, then I feel it straight away. And I was certainly feeling that. So that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to is Ludwig's soundtrack again, because I have lived off that for years on Spotify since. And I think The Marshal's Tale is still probably my favourite sort of theme of Cobb Vanth. I think that was very special. And that cowboy western sort of style, but then the whole Mandalorian theme's kind of like the cowboy western style. So yeah, but that thing where he was just sort of popping up in his M1 Starfighter, and then the music accompanies it as this sort of, don't mess with the Mandalorian, and it was conveyed so well with that music. I think overall this episode was really good, and it certainly gets you back in the mood for the Mandalorian, excited for the whole entire season. It feels special still. When you go further on with the seasons, and sometimes you sort of lose the charm, but for me, the magic still there. It's still strong, the excitement's still there, and I'm really looking forward to next week already. And we're back to the weekly excitement again, and waiting every single day, and then a Star Wars celebration. So it's going to be great. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my reaction. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know all your thoughts of this episode, what you thought and what you're looking forward to coming up. Take care of yourself, and remember, the Force will be with you always.